village feared her hair because it carried a secret no one dared to speak of. In a quiet village deep within eastern Nigeria, where ancient traditions ruled the lives of men and women alike, there was a belief so strong, so feared, that no one dared question it. A belief that would shape the life of a girl named Adaeze Nwankwo. Adaeze was not born like other children. From the day she was born, something was different. Her hair. It did not grow like ordinary hair. It grew longer, thicker, and faster than anything the elders had ever seen. By the time she was 5 years old, her hair had already reached her waist. By 10, it touched the ground, and by 16, it was said that her hair moved even when there was no wind. Her mother, Chinwe Nwankwo, knew something was wrong from the beginning, but the village priest, Dibia Okoro, declared something that would change everything. He said, "This child must never cut her hair. If she does, the consequences will not be merciful." The village gasped. Adaeze's father, Obinna Nwankwo, tried to ask questions, but the priest raised his staff and warned, "If the hair is cut, the spirit bound to it will awaken." No one dared speak again. Adaeze grew up isolated. Children avoided her. Mothers warned their daughters, "Do not play with Adaeze. Her hair carries something unnatural." Some said her hair was cursed. Others said it was a blessing. But no one could explain it. Adaeze lived with strict rules. Her hair must never be cut. It must never be touched by strangers. It must always be covered at night. And most importantly, she must never attempt to cut it herself. At night, Chinwe would sit beside her daughter, gently oiling the endless strands. But sometimes she would whisper, "Adaeze, this is not normal. One day you will understand." As Adaeze turned 18, strange things began to happen. When she felt anger, her hair would tighten slightly, as if alive. When she cried, the ends of her hair would tremble, almost like it was crying with her. One night, while she was asleep, her hair slowly began to move. It wrapped around her room, softly, carefully, like a guardian or a prisoner. Her younger brother, Emeka, once tried to cut a small strand as a joke. The moment the scissors touched her hair, a loud wind burst through the house. Emeka was thrown across the room, but Adaeze woke up screaming. From that day, no one ever tried again. One evening, during a village gathering, Dibia Okoro made a shocking announcement. He said, "The time is coming. The hair must be tested." The villagers panicked. "What does that mean?" someone asked. The priest responded, "Her fate is not yet sealed. But if she cuts the hair, she will unlock what has been buried within her." Chinwe fainted. Obinna clenched his fist. Adaeze stood silent. That night, Adaeze confronted her mother. "Mama, why am I different?" Chinwe burst into tears, and finally, she told her the truth. Adaeze was not an ordinary child. Before she was born, her mother had made a desperate decision. A child had died in the village, and in grief, Chinwe went to a forbidden shrine. There, she begged for a child. The spirit gave her one condition: your daughter will be protected, but her hair will carry the bond between her and the spirit. Cut it, and the bond breaks. Chinwe never told anyone. But now, the time had come. Days passed. The tension in the village grew stronger. People avoided Adaeze more than ever. Some even whispered, "She is the reason strange things are happening." Then one night, a terrible storm hit the village. Lightning struck trees. Wind howled like something was alive. Adaeze stood outside, her hair blowing violently. She felt something calling her. A voice, not from outside, from within. Cut it and be free. Her hands trembled. She picked up a pair of scissors. Behind her, Chinwe screamed, "Adaeze, no!" Obinna rushed forward. Emeka cried out, but Adaeze was frozen. Her hair began to move violently, wrapping around her arms, pulling her back. The storm intensified. The ground trembled. And then she made a decision. Adaeze whispered, "If this is my destiny, then I will face it." And slowly, she lifted the scissors. She placed them against her hair. The moment the blades touched, everything went silent. Then, a deafening roar filled the sky, and her eyes glowed. The entire village stood frozen. The wind stopped. Even the storm itself seemed to hold its breath. And then, a single tear fell from Adaeze's eye. It touched her hair. The moment that tear sank into the strands, everything changed. A powerful force surged through the hair. The ground cracked beneath her feet. The sky roared with thunder. And then, Adaeze's hair exploded outward, not physically breaking, but expanding in presence. It moved like something alive, no longer hair, something else, something ancient. It wrapped around her body, then the ground, then the trees nearby. Villagers screamed and ran. But Adaeze, she stood still, breathing heavily, her eyes glowing faintly now. "What is happening to me?" she whispered. Then a voice spoke again, but this time it was not gentle. It was powerful, commanding. "You have opened the seal." Adaeze gasped. Who are you?" A deep silence followed. Then the answer came. "I am what your mother bound to you. I am the guardian and the prison." The voice echoed through her mind. "Every strand of your hair holds power. Every strand holds a memory. Every strand holds a life." Adaeze's knees weakened. "Cut the hair and you free me." Her eyes widened, but the voice continued. "You also release everything I have been holding back." Obinna grabbed Chinwe. "This is what you hid from us?" Chinwe cried. "I only wanted a child. I didn't know it would become this." Dibia Okoro stepped forward, his voice trembling. "No, this is beyond my understanding." The villagers began to panic. Some ran, some fell to their knees. Because now, Adaeze was no longer just a girl. She was the center of something far greater. Inside Adaeze's mind, memories she had never seen began to surface. She saw a woman, her mother, younger, desperate. She saw the shrine, dark, silent, alive. She heard her mother's voice, "Please, give me a child." Then another voice answered, not the same spirit, something darker. "A child for a price." Adaeze gasped. The voice returned, but now it felt different, colder, harsher. "Your mother did not bind only one spirit." Adaeze's breathing quickened. "There is something inside you, something that was never meant to be awakened." The wind suddenly stopped again. Silence. Then, "If you cut your hair," the voice paused, "you will not just free me." Adaeze trembled. "You will awaken what I have been protecting you from." A long silence, then the final words. "And once it awakens, even I may not be able to stop it." Adaeze's grip on the scissors tightened. Her hands were shaking violently now. Behind her, her parents shouted, but it was too late. With one slow motion, she cut the first strand. A soft snip echoed, then silence. For a second, nothing happened. Then, the ground shook violently. The sky split with lightning. Adieze screamed as her body lifted slightly off the ground. Her hair began to glow. Not just move, glow. The village watched in terror, and then a massive shockwave burst outward. Windows shattered, trees bent, people were thrown backward. Adieze's eye turned completely white. Her voice echoed, but it was no longer just hers. She should not have done that. Then, a second voice layered over hers, deeper, older. Now we begin. Adieze dropped to her knees, her breathing uneven. Her hair now slightly shorter, but more powerful. She looked around, confused, afraid. What have I done? But the answer was already unfolding, because somewhere deep within her, something else had just opened its eyes. The village lay in silence. Broken trees, shattered homes, scattered lives. The storm had passed, but something worse remained. At the center of it all, Adieze Nwankwo stood alone. Her hair, once endless, was now uneven, shorter in some parts, but strangely more alive than ever. Her breathing was heavy, her hands trembling. "What have I become?" she whispered. No one answered, because deep inside, something else was listening. A slow whisper echoed through her mind. "You have only taken the first step." Adieze clutched her head. "No, leave me alone." But the voice grew stronger. "You cannot silence what is part of you." Her head twitched. Then it moved on its own. From a distance, the villagers watched in fear. Some whispered, "She is no longer human." Others said, "That thing inside her, it will destroy us all." Dibia Okoro stepped forward, his voice shaking. "We warned you." Obinna clenched his fist. "She is still our daughter." But even he was afraid now. Chinwe walked slowly toward Adieze, tears in her eyes. Adieze turned, her eyes still glowing faintly. "Mama, what is happening to me?" Chinwe hesitated. Then she broke. "I didn't tell you everything." Silence fell. Even the wind seemed to listen. Chinwe began to explain. "When I went to the shrine, I did not just ask for a child." Her voice trembled. "I was told I would not be given just one child." Adieze frowned. "What do you mean?" Chinwe looked away. "I was told that a child would come, but another presence would come with her." The air grew colder. A guardian and a curse bound together. Adieze staggered backward. "So this thing inside me is not new?" Chinwe shook her head slowly. "No, it has been with you since birth." Suddenly, Adieze's vision blurred. She collapsed to her knees. Memories flooded her mind. A darker version of the shrine, a deeper ritual, a second voice, a warning. If the child ever cuts the hair, the bond will shift. Adieze gasped. "Mama, what does that mean?" Chinwe's voice dropped to a whisper. "It means," she paused, "the one who was bound to protect you may now become something else." Inside Adieze's mind, a battle began. The first voice, the protector, spoke. "You must regain control." But the second voice answered, "No, she belongs to me now." Adieze screamed. Her hair surged outward. The ground cracked again. Suddenly, a villager screamed in the distance, then another. People began to collapse, not from injury, but from something unseen. Dibia Okoro's eyes widened. "It has begun." Obinna rushed forward. "What is happening?" The priest whispered. "The bond is breaking, and something is feeding on the imbalance." Adieze stood, but she was no longer steady. Her voice changed. "Stop! Stop screaming!" But the villagers kept panicking, and then Adeeze's voice deepened. Quiet! The hair shook. Everyone froze. Silence, complete silence. Even birds stopped chirping. The hair around Adeeze darkened. Her hair rose slowly and wrapped around her like a crown. Her eyes turned darker. Then the voice spoke again. Now we are awake. Adeeze's body trembled. What are you doing to me? She whispered. The voice answered, you were never meant to fear me. You were meant to become me. Suddenly, Dibia Okoro dropped his staff. No, this cannot be. He pointed at Adeeze. She is not just bound to the spirit. Everyone turned to him. His voice shook. She is the vessel, and the vessel is waking up completely. Adeeze lifted her head. Slowly, her eyes glowing brighter than before. But this time, she smiled. Not her own smile, a different one. I think I understand now, her voice echoed. This is not a curse. The wind began again. It is power. Dark clouds gathered once more, and lightning struck in the distance. The village stood frozen. The air was heavy, the sky restless, and in the center, Adeeze Nwankwo stood transformed. Her hair, now partially cut, moved like living shadows. Her eyes glowed with an unsettling light. She was no longer just Adeeze, and something inside her had fully awakened. Her voice echoed, layered with another presence. At last, the vessel is complete. Adeeze's body trembled, but her voice, different now, answered, I am still here. A pause, then the deeper voice replied, you always were here. Fear spread through the crowd. Some villagers shouted, she must be destroyed. Others cried, she is still our Adeeze. Obinna stepped forward. That is my daughter. But Dibia Okoro raised his staff. No, she is no longer just your daughter. Silence fell. If the spirit fully takes control, it will not stop here. The priest's voice lowered. It will spread, a chilling realization, across the land, across generations. Chinwe gasped. No, Dibia Okoro continued. The only way to stop it is to end the bond. Everyone looked at Adeeze. Adeeze's voice echoed in her mind. You must decide. The first voice, the protector, spoke softly. If the bonds remain, you will live, but never truly be free. The second voice replied, if the bond is broken, you will lose everything. Adeeze whispered, everything? The voice merged slightly, including yourself. Suddenly, Adeeze saw everything, the deal, but also something new. The spirit had not only been protecting her, it had been containing something worse, something ancient, something dangerous, something that should never be released. Adeeze fell to her knees, her breathing heavy, her voice trembling. If I don't act, people will suffer. She looked at her mother. Mama, I need to know. Chinwe cried. Whatever you choose, I will stand with you. Adeeze closed her eyes. The voice spoke one final time. There is another way. Everyone froze. A final binding. Adeeze listened. If you truly accept me, merge with me, we can contain the darkness together. But you will no longer live as a normal human. Adeeze opened her eyes slowly. And if I refuse, the voice responded, then we end this year. Silence. The wind stopped. Everything held its breath. Adeeze stood up. She looked at her parents, at the village, at everything she had known. Then she smiled. A calm, peaceful smile. I was born with this. Maybe I was never meant to be normal. Her hair began to rise again, light and shadow swirling together. But I will not let anyone suffer because of me. Adaeze lifted her hand and spoke one final time. If I am the one holding this power, then I will be the one to carry it. She closed her eyes and whispered, I accept. A powerful light erupted from her body. The wind howled, the ground shook, the sky split open with thunder. Adaeze screamed, and it was not pain alone, it was transformation. Her head lifted, glowing. The two forces inside her merged. Everything stopped. The wind calmed, the sky cleared, and Adaeze stood still, different, calm, balanced, alive. She opened her eyes. They no longer glowed with chaos. They were steady, peaceful, powerful. This is who I am now. The villagers watched in silence. Fear remained, but so did something else, hope. Dibia Okoro bowed his head. The balance has been restored. Obinna held his daughter tightly. Chinwe cried, not from fear, but from relief. Adaeze looked toward the horizon. The wind gently moved her hair, not violently, not forcefully, just naturally. The world will never understand what I became. A soft smile, but it doesn't have to. She turned and walked forward, not as a girl who was cursed, not as a vessel, but as something new. Years passed, and the story of Adaeze Nwankwo did not fade. It spread from one village to another, from one generation to the next. They spoke of the girl whose hair carried a power no one could understand. Some said she became a guardian spirit, walking between the physical and the unseen. Others believed she still lived, watching, protecting, waiting. In the quiet night, when the wind moves gently through the trees, the elders would whisper, not all curses are meant to destroy. Some are meant to protect what we cannot see. And if you listen closely, very closely, you might feel it, a presence, not of fear, but of balance. Some burdens are not punishments, they are responsibilities. What looks like a curse may be a hidden purpose. What feels like suffering may be the beginning of strength. And sometimes, the greatest power is not in escaping your destiny, but in accepting it and choosing to use it for good. She was feared as a curse, but remembered as the balance the world needed. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more powerful African tales like this. And tell me in the comments, if you were Adaeze, would you cut the hair or keep the power?